Welcome to Plotcast by Castified.
Today we're plunging into the high-octane world of the new F1 movie. You know, the one with Brad Pitt, directed by Joseph Kosinski, Our Mission. Let's try and dissect what this film absolutely nails, maybe where it missed the mark a bit, and what that all means for you, whether you're like a total F1 fanatic or just curious about all the buzz.
Yeah, it's definitely an ambitious project trying to bring the intensity of Formula One to the big screen like this. And the early reactions, they've been, well, all over the place. You hear visual masterpiece, but then also, frankly, horrendous movie.
Wow, okay, so quite the split.
Right. And Brad Pitt himself, he even mentioned that trying to craft a story for both the diehard fans and the newcomers, that was maybe the most difficult thing they faced.
Interesting. But it sounds like, on the visual side at least, there's more agreement. Like the spectacle.
Oh, absolutely. That seems to be the universal praise point.
Yeah.
Stunning racing shots, brilliant camera work. People are raving about the look and feel.
And the sound too, right?
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer score.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A dynamic score that really puts you in the race. It's a whole sensory thing.
So how did they get those shots? Was it all just, CGI?
Well, that's the fascinating part. They actually filmed during real Grand Prix weekends. And get this, they used modified F2 cars, that's the tier just below F1, made them look like F1 machines.
No way. So the actors were actually driving.
Some of it, yeah. Brad Pitt, Damson Idris, they were out there driving alongside stunt professionals. It adds this real heart-pounding excitement you just don't get from pure effects.
Right, that sublime kind of feeling. You can tell when it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that visual punch translated to the box office.
Big time, huge numbers. Pulled in, $144 million globally its first weekend?
Wow.
Yeah, became Apple Studios' biggest opening ever. And it even beat the initial viewership for Drive to Survive Season 7 in the first 10 days or so.
That's actually pretty massive. And you mentioned Apple Studios. That budget wasn't small either, was it?
Not at all. Around $350 million, which really signals something,
Like what?
Like major studios are willing to bet huge on F1 now. They see the growing global appeal, maybe thanks partly to Drive to Survive, and they're putting serious money behind it. It's a big shift.
Okay, so visuals.check. Box office.check.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned mixed reactions.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the story. That's where the opinions split.
That's the main area, yeah. Critics really went after the plot, calling it weak, razor thin, sometimes even borderline stupid.
Ouch.
Yeah, lots of talk about cliches, kind of soulless dialogue, not much character depth.
So what is the basic plot then?
Okay, so you've got Sonny Hayes, that's Brad Pitt's character. He's a retired F1 driver. He gets pulled back in by his old rival, played by Javier Bardem, to help save this struggling fictional team, APXGP.
Okay.
And part of that is mentoring this young, talented rookie, Joshua Pierce.
Right, got it. So a comeback story, mentor-mentee dynamic.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
And maybe too familiar for some. Plus, there were these points about realism, or lack thereof.
Ah, okay. Like what specifically?
Well, things like Sonny jumping from endurance racing straight back into an F1 car with apparently zero physical prep. I mean, F1 drivers are elite athletes. The physical toll is immense.
Yeah, that does sound like a stretch.
And his whole attitude, kind of casual. Then there's the team, APXGP. They go from being back markers, always last, to suddenly fighting for podiums in like under 10 races.
Yeah, F1 doesn't usually work quite that fast. It's more of a slow grind technologically.
Precisely. So a lot of hardcore fans felt it was a bit fairy tale-ish. Some said you basically had to turn off your brain about the F1 details to just enjoy the ride.
So it's leaning more towards, say, driven than rush in terms of realism, though maybe not quite flying cars level.
Yeah, definitely not driven levels of absurdity. But it's certainly taking more artistic license than a film like Rush, which was pretty grounded in the Hunt versus Lauda facts. It's entertainment first, accuracy second, it seems.
Which brings us to the impact, right? What's the goal here, beyond just being a movie? F1 itself must have hopes for this. Oh, for sure. Stefano Domenicali, the F1 CEO, he's been quite open about it. He hopes the movie will connect with the new generation and get them to stay with us for a long time.
So picking up where Drive to Survive left off, essentially. Keep bringing new eyes to the sport.
That seems to be the idea. And look, despite the criticisms of the plot, many people do think the film captures something essential about F1.
Like the feeling,
Okay.
the essence.
Yeah, that constant push for improvement, technologically, athletically, the mix of raw talent and deep strategy, the human stories behind the helmets. It taps into that.
So even if the plot details are shaky, it might still work to draw people in.
Very likely. It delivers the thrills, the visuals, the core emotions of F1. Even with artistic liberties, it's probably going to be a gateway for a lot of new potential fans.
Okay, so summing up, F1. The movie sounds like
Hello.
a visually incredible experience, a real cinematic ride. But the story, definitely polarizing, splitting opinions right down the middle.
Absolutely. Which leaves you with a question, really. In a sport that's getting more and more real-time, behind-the-scenes access through things like Drive to Survive, does a big, glossy, fictionalized movie risk undermining that authenticity? Or is it just another way, maybe a more traditional, cinematic way, to get hooked on the whole F1 experience? How much truth do you need versus how much suspension of disbelief are you willing to bring?
Something to think about. Thanks for listening.